It is very que somos dos nomás. Está fresco.
How do you like the winter weather?
It is very cold today and it is rainy in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it's great. Okay. Okay. So we're going to continue working on our writing skills and also to start, yes, we're going to practice some brain teaser. Okay. Let's watch a video. I think it's very interesting. And we're going to see something very interesting. Okay. Let's watch.
Here's a brain teaser. A rooster is on the roof of a barn facing east. The wind is blowing to the west at 10 miles per hour. The rooster lays an egg. Which direction does the egg roll? If you want, you can pause the video and think it over.
Okay. Have you got it? This is a brain teasers. There is a rooster on the top of the house, and he's facing east. And he laid an egg. Which direction does the egg goes? Okay, east or west? What do you think? What do you think?
I would say that it won't go anywhere, any direction, because roosters don't lay eggs.
Yes, that's it. That's it, Isabel. Great answer. That's a brain teaser, no? Something that you pay attention to the details, you can have a good conclusion. Okay, very good. Okay, if you want, you can continue watching this. It's in the sorry, so you can see this on the platform. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the first one.
The answer? There is no egg. The rooster didn't lay one because roosters are male. Did you get it right? Let's pick this apart and see why many people have difficulty with this brain teaser and so many others.
Pay attention to the details. Now let's watch our lesson. Okay. Styles of academic writing. Okay. From description to reflections. That's the idea of we have different types of styles of writing. Okay. Now this is the video that we have seen. Okay. Recently. That we saw. Okay. Overview. Styles of academic writing. Academic writing can take different forms depending on purpose. Okay. You want to describe something, your essay will be descriptive. Okay. You want to analyze something, okay? Your essay will be an analytical one. And a reflective is when you found some information and you want to talk about what are the implications of that topic. Okay. And critical is a mix of these three. Okay. So you want to write critical one, you are going to apply all of these, and well, in each paragraph you can write about your critique. Okay, you want to give your opinion about science. Okay. Okay. So the goal is to identify when and how to use like each writing style. Okay. Okay. So that's we're going to watch and read some books, and we're going to put some characteristics of these reflective these styles of academic writing. Okay. The descriptive. What are the points of this? When focus on what, who, and when. Okay, that's the main idea of this descriptive writing. Use it in methodology sections and with literature reviews. Okay. We have an example of methodology section, and the experiment was conducted over 5 days. Okay. Smith and literature reviews. Smith defines identity as, okay, that's an example of descriptive writing. Okay, when you focus on what, who, and when. Okay, now the task number, this is a task, find 2 descriptive sentences in an article. Okay. Analytical writing goes beyond description to ask why and how. Okay. You are interested just in a description that you want to analyze, and you have to ask why and how. Okay. So you use this in discussion sections and comparative essays. Okay, examples. Results support hypothesis A due to X. Okay, discussion section. Comparative essays. The use of metaphors shows there's some examples of this kind of analytical writing. Now, the task is turn this analytical into analytical. Sorry. Oh, no problem. Sorry. The protest occurred on Monday. Okay, so you have to change into analytical writing using these examples. Okay. Reflective writing. What is a reflective writing? Combines analytical plus personal experience, often in the first verse. Uses in practical journals and training reflections. Okay. In the example, at first I felt unsure, but my session 3, ¿no? Entonces, you can see this, no? The examples of reflective writing. Okay. So the task will be reflect on a recent learning experience. Okay. Critical writing. Judges evaluate challenge sources. Okay. Uses in argument essays and critical reviews. Okay. So the final project for this module will be a critical essay, an argument essay and critical review. Johnson's model explained X but ignored Watts. Okay. Wrong. What makes writing critical not just analytical? You have to think about an answer about this question. Okay. And the last one, no, we have from description to critical. Okay, Bloom's pyramid. Okay. No me acuerdo si les envié la pirámide de Bloom's. Bueno, de todas maneras se las voy a volver a subir.
Sí, envió.
Envió, ¿no? Sí.
Envió, sí, sí.
Sí, ok. Entonces, la base, digamos, remember, ¿no? Si ustedes recuerdan, it's okay. ¿no? You understand? Yes, it's useful also. ¿no? You apply, it's better. You analyze, it's a step over, no? Apply, evaluate, and create. Okay. The thing, if you get this create, okay, is the highest, no, point of a critical thinking to evaluate, to analyze, to apply something, and to if you create, you have already learned something. Okay. Okay, so the task will be that you have to write a sentence for each of these. Okay. You have the parameter, those parameters, you have some verbs, so they will have that to do that. Okay. And other one, descriptive or critical instructions. Is the action descriptive, the or critical? Which Bloom level from 1 to 6 does it fit? Okay. Example, this descriptive. What do you the one? Okay. So when you write your answers, you have to describe in this way. Descriptive, critical, which Bloom level from 1 to 6. Okay. For example, here you say describe what you did. Entonces, it's a descriptive. In Bloom's is number 1. Okay. Because this verb describe in Bloom is in level 1. Okay. Judge an argument, critical, and in Bloom's is 1, is 5. Okay. So you write your sentences and you analyze in this way. Okay. Okay, you have a case study video here. You are going to write 3 critical actions mentioned in the video, discuss with the partner. Okay, I'm going to write, you are going to write your answers for this exercise in the forum. Okay, I'm going to put this, and then you are going to decide. I was seeing that you had leaving some comments about your partner's words, and that's good. Excellent. Okay. I would like that you can continue doing that. Good. And then task 3, apply your knowledge. Highlight in your paragraph, descriptive, analytical, reflective, and critical. Rewrite to improve critical depth. Okay. So remember that I told you to write some paragraphs. So you have to highlight in your paragraph descriptive, analytical, reflective, or critical. Okay. So in that way you can apply all the things that you have been doing. Okay. let's watch the video. The platform, yes, let's watch the video. Let's watch. I'm going to copy the link and let's watch this video. And then you're going to write these things in the forum. And the other exercises you can write on the worksheet. Okay? A ver, let me see. We're going to copy the link. Okay.
Todos me buscan para saber cómo ahorrar.
Doc, necesito internet ilimitado.
Welcome to this Introduction to Critical Thinking at University, brought to you by the Study Advice team at the University of Reading. It is designed for you to go through at your own pace, and you can pause it at any time. What does it mean when you're told that you're not being critical enough? What are you being told to do? When do you know that you're being analytical, that you're evaluating something? And how do
Dicen,
these
disculpe, nos está mostrando la diapositiva,
critical
pero no el
analysis
video.
Perdón. Ahora sí.
involves many different things, and what kind of critical analysis you do will vary throughout each assignment. What you see on the screen is Bloom's taxonomy, a schematic
Vamos a comenzar.
that you're not being critical. It is designed for you to go through at your own pace, and you can pause it at any time. What does it mean when you're told that you're not being critical enough? What are you being told to do? When do you know that you're being analytical, that you're evaluating something? And how do these things relate to one another? Critical analysis involves many different things, and what kind of critical analysis you do will vary throughout each assignment. What you see on the screen is Bloom's taxonomy, a schematic of critical thinking developed by Benjamin, an American educational psychologist that is widely used to clarify the relationships between some of the most fundamental aspects of critical analysis. There are several ways in which to understand how the taxonomy is organized. The most obvious one is as a hierarchy, according to which the higher up the pyramid you climb, the more critical you're being. Essays that analyze and evaluate are more critical than those that simply provide relevant information or explain what something means in a couple of sentences. These latter essays may simply present the claims or findings of others without examining their validity, as if they were beyond question, or as if the writer has nothing more to add. This is typical of what we call descriptive writing, which, roughly speaking, maps onto the lowest two levels of Bloom's taxonomy, while the upper four levels represent different stages of critical writing. You may have come across the term descriptive writing before, perhaps in the feedback for an assignment. Descriptive writing is typically distinguished from critical writing, but the distinction isn't always clear. Generally speaking, descriptive writing presents facts, while critical writing presents what we might call truth claim. The difference being that facts are statements that are meant to be taken at face value, that is, as something you wouldn't question, whereas truth claims are presented in a way that anticipates or even invites questioning. The statements that make up descriptive writing, therefore, are presented with no explanation or justification, unlike those that make up critical writing. Descriptive writing aims to inform, while critical writing aims to convince. Descriptive writing generally demonstrates breadth of knowledge or provides the reader with information, while critical writing goes further by using that knowledge and information to make a truth claim. Your approach to reading and research will have a big influence on how descriptive or critical your writing is. Descriptive writing is typically a product of simply looking for information in sources, while critical writing is the product of looking for information, truth claims presented by others, evidence to support one's own truth claims, and other ways of interpreting the evidence. Remember, when reading an academic source, look for more than just facts. And finally, remember that descriptive writing is important, albeit not as important as critical writing. Descriptive writing is often talked about as if it was something you should never do, a trap you should never fall into. Instead, think of it as something you should avoid getting trapped in. Even the most critical writing typically starts with some descriptive writing that provides the reader with essential information about what will be critically discussed later on. Just make sure that you don't spend too long providing too much information and that you know where the facts are building towards. If we think of descriptive writing as a starting point, then we can understand Bloom's taxonomy not just as a hierarchy of criticality, but also as a process of stages. The idea being that to reach any level on the pyramid, we must do everything beneath it. Thus, to present our understanding of something, we must provide relevant information. To apply something, say a theory, method, or knowledge, we must demonstrate that we have understood it. And to analyze something, we must apply a mode of analysis. The word analysis comes from an ancient Greek word meaning to unravel or break something down. The idea here is that when we analyze something, we strip it down to better understand how it works. So, for example, if we want to better understand how a car engine moves the car forward by burning fuel, then we need to take it apart and work out how its components work together to produce that effect. We might already start to notice how Bloom's taxonomy isn't quite a straightforward linear hierarchy, insofar as to analyze leads to understanding. One way of explaining why analysis is higher than understanding on the taxonomy is that it only takes as little as a couple of sentences to explain how we understand something, but it takes several paragraphs
Sorry.
to outline how we came to that understanding. And this latter process matters in academic writing, for without it, our understanding of something, say a key theory or method, may seem arbitrary and uninformed. In other words, as a hierarchy, what Bloom's taxonomy represents is the steadily greater amount of work needed to demonstrate each of these abilities. But as we've already seen, it also works as a series of steps, meaning that analysis gives you the tools to evaluate. If analysis is a process of figuring out how something works, evaluation is one of determining how well something works. And to do that, we need to compare it with other things. So, to continue the example from earlier, if we want to understand how well a car engine works, we need to compare it with how well other car engines work by analysing them. This also requires a set of clearly defined criteria. We need to know what we're evaluating the engines for. Is it fuel economy, acceleration, durability, and how we're going to measure their performance, miles per gallon, horsepower, miles between breakdowns, etc. Without criteria, we cannot evaluate. The final level or stage of Bloom's taxonomy is create. And again, to bear in mind how the taxonomy represents a series of stages as well as a hierarchy, insofar as you cannot create without evaluating. Create refers to the use of new knowledge or a new approach, say a theory or method, to develop something that works better than what exists. To return to car engines, this might involve using new knowledge to design a car engine that performs even better than any other existing car engine. In the case of something more abstract, such as a theory or interpretation, it will involve using new knowledge to produce a new theory that accounts better for observations. Bear in mind that create doesn't mean producing something so grand that it will redefine whole fields of knowledge on the way we live. It can be something as humble as making a claim that, as far as you're aware, based on what scholarship you've read, has yet to be made, or taking an angle on something that you haven't seen anyone else take. Even at this level, though, You will need to make a convincing case for your claim or approach, for which you will need to analyze existing claims and demonstrate how they're not as good as yours. Here, we run yet again into the nonlinearity of Bloom's taxonomy, insofar as the process of justifying our choice of approach may involve evaluating it against a number of other approaches before applying it. And in applying it, we are analyzing something, meaning that we have moved through Bloom's taxonomy twice in a single piece of work. In our academic writing, we will find ourselves moving up and down the taxonomy several times over, depending on what we need to do at any one time. If you ever suspect that you're not being critical enough, it can be helpful to read through your writing and highlight moments in which you're analysing, evaluating, and creating, and then work out how your writing moves between these stages. So, to summarise, make sure that your descriptive writing enables you to move beyond into critical writing. Use analysis to show the reader how you came to understand something the way you did, rather than just presenting your understanding as requiring no explanation or justification. Analyze and evaluate a theory or method before applying it. Analyze and evaluate existing knowledge and approaches before creating. And provide relevant facts and information about your topic before analyzing it. About your topic before analyzing it. Relevant facts and information about your topic before analyzing it.
Okay, so when you want to write critical essay, you have apply these advices that you have seen in the video. Okay, follow the steps and you're going to have a good critical essay. Okay. Okay, so on the platform, I wrote some plataforma. Okay, I'm going to put please open the platform. Okay. Please open the platform. There you can find some readings also that will help you to improve your knowledge, okay? And give you some ideas about how you can apply this critical thinking. Okay, remember that you are working in paragraphs. Okay. Let's watch lesson 5. Lesson 5. Lesson 5, you have some. This recourse, reflective writing. This is an article where you can find some ideas, reflection. It says here it's a core skill for your university work. But it means will depend on your particular assignments, the subjects you are studying, your discipline area of study, and so forth. This resource will introduce you to the different kinds of reflective writing at university, the types of assignments that call for reflective writing, different levels of reflection, sign language strategies, and examples text. So this resource is very useful. And the other one, analytical writing, introduction, common criteria of undergraduate essay writing focus on the following requirements. The students need to be analytical and critical in their response. The students need to structure their writing logically. The students need to be persuasive writers. The students need to answer the question. This booklet looks at the requirements to be analytical in your response. Other learning center booklets in this series deal with the others aspect. Okay, so those two articles and reflections you can use to work with quiz. Okay, it could be a good idea. You can read before starting working the worksheet, take some samples, some ideas, or meanwhile you are doing the worksheet, you can read. You can also look for other information also. Okay. Is it good? Yes. We're gonna meet at 9:30 again. So if you have any question, you can ask. Okay. And also, yes. Okay. Read this reader. And when we meet again, we are going to see the answer. Okay. And continue doing. I'm going to review and continue reviewing your lesson 4 now. Lesson 3 I have finished. And then we're going to finish lesson 4 review. Okay. And also I'm going to put the project number 3. Right now I'm going to put the the forum again. Forum, yes. I'm going to put the forum. Okay.
Disculpe una pregunta.
Mhm.
En el worksheet número 5
Ajá.
lo estaba realizando
Yeah.
y hay un ejercicio 3 diciendo choose a short paragraph from one of your recent assignments. ¿De dónde más o menos sacaría un short paragraph? ¿Puede ser de algún recurso que esté en la plataforma que sacó ahí para analizar?
Sí, puede ser, o también usted puede, de alguno de sus anteriores trabajos, puede también, no, o sea, de anteriores materias, porque ya han pasado 2 materias, ¿no? O
Ah,
algún,
ya.
¿no? Entonces puede sacar de alguno de esos short.
Ok.
Sí,
Gracias.
sí,
Gracias, Elisa.
claro. Ujú, puede. Entonces aquí ustedes pueden buscar la fuente. Ya para hacer ahí.
Ya.
Siempre tiene que poner de dónde están sacando y ya, no hay problema. La
Ok.
fuente, ¿no? Siempre poner la cita de la fuente. ¿Ok? Porque eso es importante. Cuando ustedes hacen ¿qué se llama? Pues sus drafts, entonces ustedes tienen que siempre poner su fuente. ¿No? Por ejemplo, si esto yo lo he sacado de tal revista, yo voy a poner aquí la fuente. ¿Saben poner ¿qué se llama? En Word, citar una fuente? A ver, vamos a ver. Fíjense cómo se hace. Supongamos que esto yo lo he sacado. Digamos, esto no lo aparece. Ahí. Aquí donde dice referencias, ustedes agarran y abren aquí. Referencias.
Dice, no está mostrando el
¿Sí?
Word.
¿No está mostrando? Perdón,
No.
perdón.
No, se ve la plataforma nomás.
Bien, sí. Push, ya, stop sharing. Es que algunas veces entra solito y otras veces hay que cambiar. Ok, ahí sí están viendo, ¿no ven? ¿Sí? Ahora sí podemos. Muy bien. Ahora entonces ustedes digamos que este es un párrafo que yo he sacado la información de un libro, de una referencia, ¿ok? Entonces vamos a, pues, no sé, bastante. ¿Qué dice? Esta para referencia. Voy a poner acá abajo. Esta referencia, aquí pensé. Entonces yo donde termino de hacer mi cita, en el voy a finish, busco referencia y busco esta parte, insertar cita, ¿ya? Entonces ahí me da dos opciones, agregar una nueva fuente, agregar marcador de posición, agregar una nueva fuente. No tiene que ir aquí. Ya, fíjense que incluso aquí, si no tiene estilo de bibliografía, totalmente usan este documento para colocar espacio. Ya, bueno. Ujú. Ya, ahí me sale, fíjense. Entonces, si yo he sacado un libro, a book, sección de un libro, artículo de revista, artículo de periódico, informe, ya, artículo de revista. Debería haber no. Ok, aquí no. Sitio web, ya, entonces, documento, sitio web, medios electrónicos, arte, grabación de audio, función, película, entrevista, patente, casos, varios. Entonces aquí generalmente vamos a poner un documento de un sitio web. Entonces aquí tengo que poner el nombre del autor, ¿ya? Autor, eh, el nombre, ¿no? Y siempre comenzamos con el apellido, digamos. Bloom, eh, Bloompedia, ¿no? Entonces pongo ahí Bloom Peter, digamos, ¿ah? Aquí el nombre del sitio web, digamos, no me acuerdo cómo se llama el de EA Foundation, EA Foundation, es lo que estuvimos viendo. Bueno, yo me estoy inventando, ¿no? Foundation. Ok, año 2023, digamos, 2024. Voy a poner mes, día, y aquí ponen la URL, ¿no? Entonces ustedes al buscar un sitio web, a ver, pero ya. O sea, ¿de dónde son ustedes copian de arriba, ¿no es? La URL y, y les va a salir esto, ¿ya? Así, fíjense, el apellido más el año. Entonces, ustedes ponen aceptar y eso va a aparecer aquí, ¿ya? Fíjense. Entonces, aquí ya cuando yo verifico, cuando digamos una persona que su lector de ustedes lee, ahí va a ver la fuente, ¿no? Al final del ensayo,